welcome back to House of R. I'm Joanna Robinson. Joining me today, representing the Baltimore Ravens, it's Mallory Rubin.
It's draft day, baby. You hyped?
As you know, it's my favorite day of the year.
Yeah?
You don't have to get ready if you stay ready, you know?
Sports
so,
Joe.
There we are.
Sports Joe.
We're not here to talk about football, though.
I mean, we'll see.
We're here to talk about Daredevil.
That's right.
The Vampire Lestat trailer. And by Mallory's request, the very scary Clayface trailer.
Yeah, just a check-in on an exciting trailer that dropped yesterday.
Right after this.
This episode of House of R is presented to you by Target. Calling all trainers! Pokemon is celebrating 30 years and the party is at Target.
That's right. Pokemon and Target are launching a limited time collection designed for trainers across every era of fandom.
We're talking over 100 exclusive pieces that you won't find anywhere else. Shirts, water bottles, and more.
The first drop appears in stores May 2nd.
And online May 3rd, before the collection evolves with the second drop on June 6th.
Explore now at Target.com. All right, so before we get into the triple header that we have planned here today, is that something that one would say ever?
Yeah, absolutely. Sports Joe has not left the podcast yet.
Great.
Yeah. Why do a double header when you can do a triple header?
People don't usually do a triple header, though, right? It's usually we just cap it at 2. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Quick programming reminder. So we are just going to be covering. Were we seduced by how good the last 2 episodes of Daredevil were to commit to covering the rest of the season week by week? Maybe.
It's possible.
But we will be covering this week, next week, and then the finale. Mallory won't be here next week, so we'll have a sub for her, but she'll be back for the finale. And we have been told that the last 2 episodes of the season are absolute bangers, so I'm very excited.
I'm excited too. I'm sad to miss next week. I will be with the fam.
Yes.
But I will be with you in spirit, as always. And I have no idea what happens in next week's Daredevil, but I will probably send you some Daniel Blake-related text messages, as I tend to do.
There are 2 shows currently airing that I get real-time text from you about. One is Daredevil and one is Survivor. And
boy,
the Daredevil ones are actually like more Fast and Furious than the Survivor ones, which is pretty interesting.
It's a lot of
Survivor 50. Daredevil, very important.
The Survivor texts are like, you know, we're sending each other screeds, and it's like long, deep messages about all of the various thoughts and feelings we're carrying.
Fuck you, Jimmy Fallon. You know what you did.
We await your apology as well. The Daredevil texts are pretty much exclusively pictures of our televisions.
Yeah. The ones I said to you yesterday were like especially very special because I haven't hung the curtains yet up in my new place. And so there's just like blaring light coming in from the windows. And I was like, if you squint closely, you can see Dex's chest hair. You're welcome. Spoilers for this episode of Daredevil.
Indeed.
So we're covering Daredevil.
Yes.
We've got another Nolan. We've got a
double
header on the Nolan pod. We're doing Following and Insomnia.
I'm really excited.
There's sort of 2 lesser known Nolan works, but we watched Following and we really liked it a lot. And there's a lot of like really interesting things to say. If you're with us for this like Nolan completionist thing we're doing before the Odyssey, I think Following is a core text.
Have to check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Maul.
Yes.
Baby.
Shadow, Lord, Hive, Rise.
Please keep up with Maul because we have a very special thing planned for the finale. So please do that. Also, we're hoping there's a House of the Dragon trailer this weekend. And if there is, and if indeed there is, some key cast members are going to be at a con.
That's right.
So we think they're going to drop a trailer. And if there is, we will have a breakdown for you at the top of next week.
Maybe we'll get a premiere date. That would be exciting.
That would be helpful for our scheduling.
That would be great.
So how can folks keep track? I mean, because we've been planning out our year. And our year is going to get really intensive really quickly. So
it's House of R season, folks.
It is our year.
It has never been.
It's our era. It's my era.
such a time to
as
be
Lestat would say.
I mean, it's like it's in general. It's just peak House of R season. But today, especially, Dex shirtless, cuffed in bed.
Yeah.
and a new Lestat trailer. What a time to be you, Joanna
me
Robinson.
season.
My goodness. The
With the
NFL
promise
draft
of
is today.
Maul
What a
on the
time to be me.
horizon. Yes.
Boy. Before I remind everybody how to follow along, I just wanted to quickly mention my longtime colleague and dear friend, Jordan Kahn, has a new book out this week, a Ringer book,
Yes.
American Men. It is so good. I give this the most fervent recommendation. It is like fascinating and beautiful. And Jordan is such a gifted and empathetic reporter and storyteller. And this is just like, it is a good time to read a book like this in our world. It
Absolutely.
is really wonderful. And I will have the pleasure of chatting with Jordan about this beautiful work of journalism on Monday, this coming Monday in Los Angeles. Monday night, book soup. Come hang.
Yeah.
Come listen to Jordan talk about this book. We would love to see you on Monday.
I've never been to Book Soup. Should I come on Monday?
I've also never been.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You want to come?
Yeah, I want to come.
Fantastic.
We'll be there and you should be there too. Okay, great.
How can you follow along?
Yeah.
Here's what I'd recommend. It's a bold suggestion, but I'm going to throw it out there. Follow the pod.
What?
Yeah, I know. Follow
Jump
the
back.
pod. Follow House of R on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. You can watch full video episodes of House of R on Spotify. Incredible stuff. You can also follow the Ringerverse YouTube channel and the new House of R Instagram and TikTok at House of R Pod. Also, you can send us your emails because the inbox is always open. hobbitsanddragons@gmail.com.
Have I purchased a piece of costuming for one of our pod series later this summer?
You have.
Yes.
You have.
Should you subscribe to our socials to see how that looks?
You should.
I'm also curious how that's going to look, so we'll find out when it gets here.
I've never been more certain of anything in my life. It's going to be majestic.
It's going to be majestic.
It's going to be majestic.
Mallory promises it's going to be majestic. Okay. Spoiler warning.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
The Lestat trailer,
That's right. Yeah.
the Clayface trailer. If you haven't watched them yet, go watch them. And then episode 6 Requiem
Mm-hmm.
of Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
We did already spoil that Dex is shirtless, and you can see some like golden chest hair and
Sure can.
in the diffused lighting.
Yeah. Some bruising,
Mm-hmm.
some wound staples, and a
bloody,
nice
some bloody grins.
spattering of chest hair. Wonderful.
It's a lot. So we're gonna start with the trailer, sort of double dip, and then
Yeah.
we'll get into what we're calling our sort of medium-ish dive
A check-in.
into
Yeah.
episode
Yeah.
6.
Yeah. Just really an excuse to talk about Ma Blake.
Yes.
I can't wait.
I think she might be your new soulmate, honestly.
I felt a connection and it was keen.
If anyone were to run a sort of vitamin pyramid scheme successfully, I think it would be you. I think you could sell me vitamins if you wanted to.
Interesting.
You're very persuasive.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I feel seen and known. And I really understood when BB said to Daniel, like, why don't you want to let my true color shine? You know?
A woman who drove my carpool, so like my friend's mom who drove us in carpool like freshman year of high school was like part of a like vitamin pyramid scheme operation. And so like the car was just constantly like full of boxes and bottles and like all this sort of stuff.
Were there ever any chocolate bars that turned the adults of the town into
band candy?
Fantastic.
Band candy.
Libido forward heartthrobs.
One can only dream. All right. Speaking of libido forward heartthrobs,
Yeah.
we're gonna start with the Vampire Lestat season 3 trailer.
My God. Let's just give you this moment to return to something you said last week when we did our mid-season Daredevil check-in, which was, and I quote, crying and coming. Was that also your experience watching this trailer?
When I told the Prestige crew that I said that on the camera, they're like, "You're very different on that other pod." I was like, "I guess I am." I got it. I learned it from watching you. That aside, let's start a new clock.
Okay.
The Cobb Vanth clock is still active, always active.
Boy, is it.
Vampire Lestat premieres June 7th, a mere 45 days away.
Okay, that actually gave me like a little like
Anxiety spike?
Yeah. To know that June 7th is only 45 days away because we have a lot of stuff to cover in June.
It will likely be running concurrently, for definitely several weeks at least with House of the Dragon.
Yes, which we know is starting in June, but
sometime.
we don't know the
date.
In June.
So it's going to be
some movies in June.
House of the
Disclosure
Dragon,
Day,
Talk the Thrones, and Vampire Lestat. And that's what we're doing. And we are doing it.
I'll be potting alone on Toy Story 5.
Oh, did our producer give me a skeptical eyebrow? Did Arjuna give me a skeptical eyebrow when I said we were covering Vampire Lestat week to week? He did. And I just said, Arjuna supports us in all our endeavors, but he's like, how many weeks is that going to be? And I was like, it doesn't matter. We're doing it. We're doing Vampire Lestat week to week. It's very important to me.
Will the coffins fit into the set as it's currently constituted? Will we need to roll out certain items of the set? Have you been coordinating with Kevin?
Well, I definitely think whatever our
Jack
drippy candle aesthetic is from Talk the Thrones, we can kind of carry some of that over into the Vampire Lestat set.
Yes. Yeah.
But should we have just blood running down the walls?
Probably. What would you prefer?
Yeah.
Do you would you prefer the coffins, or do you just want a stage to really lean into the musical?
I don't know. Are you going to show up in leather pants and nothing else? Something to think about. Something to think about. All right.
I'm not sure I've ever worn leather pants in my life.
You saw me buy something. Should you buy something? Oh, hey. My messaging is working on here.
Cinema mode. My version of Rizzo just always saying cinema is me saying to you, cinema mode. Leather pants. I have never worn leather pants in my life, I don't think.
Yeah.
I am a fidgeter, as you know. I'm down for a bit, and I'm down for some cosplay, and I'm pretty much down to do anything for the podcast. And I'm really down to try anything once, just in general.
I know that.
I worry that the leather pants would be quite loud.
Squeaky.
Due to how often I move while we pod. What do you think?
The creak is part of the joy, honestly.
Okay.
That's how you know you're alive. This trailer,
tell me all your thoughts and feelings,
is set to Sam Reed, who plays the Vampire Lestat, singing a cover of Billy Idol's Dancing with Myself.
Sensational.
Invoking Billy Idol with a blonde vampire is very Spike from Buffy core. If you guys have not been following along with our Buffy rewatch, that is a very Spike thing to do. But also, I asked my pal, Jenny Owen Youngs, who loves vampires and is a musician herself, and she sent me some unprompted texts about the trailer, so I knew she was quite excited and already listened. And I was like, why do you think they used this song specifically? And then she did a little medium dive on the lyrics. So I would like to do a dramatic reading for you.
Please.
Here's one stanza. When there's no one else in sight, in the crowded, lonely night, while I wait so long for my love vibration and I'm dancing with myself. That, she says, is Lestat to his core.
Yes.
This yearner.
Absolutely.
Under all the bravado and the violence and the leather pants is this desperately lonely, yearning kind of guy. Okay. And then if I looked all over the world and there's every type of girl, but your empty eyes seem to pass me by, leave me dancing with myself. She's like, that's Louis. That's Louis not giving Lestat sort of what he needs to fill the void inside of him. So love that for us. This looks so good. This trailer is so good. The show looks so good. I might die right now and then come back to life and then die again later when we talk about Karen's wig on this week's episode of Daredevil.
Yes.
How did you feel about this trailer?
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that basically every single piece of marketing for the season has been just spectacular, dating back to the first images that were released, and what a way to draw us in with that, that torso, my goodness. But yeah, I think the kind of ability to really present this as something that is very specific in its format and structure and tone, and lean in full to the rock star, this seeking of the spotlight and centering and recentering in the story, both inside of the universe and in kind of a metatextual way in terms of Lestat receding a bit by necessity and then coming back in such a forceful way at the end. All of that is perfect. And it's just fun and sexy and cool, which also feels perfect. So I am delighted and very excited. I'm really looking forward to talking about it with you every week. And I'm also already excited to rewatch the prior seasons and have an excuse to rewatch the prior seasons. Not that we need one.
June 7th. You're so excited.
Yeah. June 7th. Plenty of time. It'll be fine.
So here's one of the voiceovers we get. Daniel Malloy in this trailer, our guy, who says, "You witnessed the French Revolution, the electric light, the atomic bomb. Why music? Why now?" And that's to set up for us that not only as all of the trailers have shown us, and if you've read the book, it does this as well. We're getting what's happening in the present timeline with Lestat reacting to the story that Louis and Daniel put out there in the world about him. This is sort of his like temper tantrum.
Right.
I'm going to tell my own version of the story via song, via, rock god. If I feel rejected by Louis, I'm going to seek out the adoration of millions, if not billions of people to fill that void. All of that's in there. But reminding us how old Lestat is, that he lived through the French Revolution, sets up the fact that this takes place in the now and in the past. And that combination of cravats and corsets now and corsets then and all this other stuff gave me very strong Sofia Coppola, Marie Antoinette vibes, right? Just that sort of like electric pink, neon, plus the period aspect of it as well in concert is really exciting. I wrote down a free association of words in the notes here.
Yeah.
I wrote down blood, drugs, silk, leather, skin, music, tears, literal heads rolling, cravats. Quick spoiler, skip ahead if you don't want to know. Making out with his mother in the trailer.
Boy, do they fuck?
Tune in to find out.
How very Boardwalk Empire, my goodness.
How very House of the Dragon.
Indeed, quite.
It's incest season, baby.
It is really incest season here at the House of Ours. It so often is. Something to think about. Interesting.
Something to consider.
I just am so interested in this and excited about this. And one of the things that was so fun to talk about with you when we gift swapped and I got to watch season 2 and we got to talk about it briefly was in general, I think obviously the way that this story is about, in some ways, the most intimate acts and relationships and nature of communing. And then in other ways, really about seeking a way to express yourself, right? Whether it's through those direct relationships or your coven, your following, or your theater troupe or whatever. So this feels like a writing, right? Speaking in an interview. It's so much about what are you trying to communicate and how and who will receive it and how. And so this feels just so totally of a piece with that, but also a new wrinkle and a new flavor, which is great. To be able to root something in the core aspect of the show and reinvent at the same time. That's a perfect balance. But one of the things that I loved so much about season 2 was this idea of memory and reliability of any narration and also just who gets to be the arbiter of the truth and the fact that does the truth have an arbiter or is it inherent, right? And I think that the story in general and the characters, but this adaptation, this television show with the caliber of the writing and the performances and the lyricism and the poetry and the beauty of it explores that just in such a rich and kind of luscious way. To give that to us again while Sam Reed is shirtless, writhing and singing on stage, what?
There are such obvious surface level hedonistic pleasures to be had in this season. And then there will be, as there were in the first 2 seasons, just profound emotion and writing because, they do a great job adapting the direct text that Anne Rice wrote while embellishing in ways that have just proven that they understand the core text and have just a firm mastery of language and theme. And I'm just so excited. One last tidbit from my pal Jenny, who I am hoping will give us sort of musician insights all season.
That would be great.
I made her promise she would watch live so she could help me out. But she, the first text she sent me was there's this shot of Lestat with the microphone sort of wrapped around his neck and sort of dangling down the back. And she let me know that that's a Sennheiser. That's Steve. It's known as the Stevie Nicks mic. And so she sent a photo of Stevie Nicks using that mic. And so I just love that that's a choice that they made. This sort
of
the
greats.
Her sort of witchy rock goddess energy. Also, there's also a shot I texted Jenny. I was like, what's going on here? He has a synthesizer strapped to his chest. And she's like, that's a very standard teenage engineering OPXY portable synthesizer. She's like, but they painted it black. She's like, so it's very gothy. And she's like, and I don't know how he plans to play it up there. She's like, it's just like, I was like, does one usually strap it to one's naked glistening chest? She's like, no. And I was like, okay. So stay tuned for musical insights from Jenny and Youngs and for our thrilled coverage. Anything else you want to say about this before we get to Clayface?
Just so happy for you.
Thank you.
Just honestly so thrilled for you.
It is a gift. That's what it feels like to me. All right, October 23rd. Speaking of a gift, that's my birthday month, and we are getting Clayface. October is usually when we get a Mike Flanagan Netflix series that thrills and chills me. This year, we're getting a Mike Flanagan DC movie. Mike Flanagan wrote a treatment for Clayface that James Gunn found so compelling that Clayface just sort of like hop, skipped, and jumped over a bunch of other movies that they had planned in this sort of first phase of the new DC reinvention.
Yes.
We get a trailer that Mallory texted and she was like, this looks legitimately scary. I'm quite excited.
Yeah.
It's just very clear body horror.
Yes.
Is what's going on here. The film is directed by James Watkins, who directed Speak No Evil, a very creepy James McAvoy film. But Mike Flanagan did write it, so I think it's going to have a lot of that Flanagan. Like, I don't think anyone's doing horror and sort of like psychological, emotional involvement wrapped together as well as Mike Flanagan. So I'm extremely excited for this. Tom Rhys-Harris is playing Matt Hagen, a.k.a. Clayface. Naomi Ackie is here. Max Minghella, fresh off his industry run.
Incredible cast.
One of my favorites, Eddie Marsan, is also here. So what are your initial reactions to the trailer that you want to share?
I just thought this trailer was amazing. Like, truly, what a vibe. I do think it looks quite terrifying. And so I am slightly worried about my ability to tolerate the horror, but I think I'll be okay. I thought that the mood and like the kind of sensibility that the trailer communicated through just its musical choice and the glimpses and the shrieks and the cutting of the scalpel and the blood and obviously the first glimpse of this like you said, the body horror of the shape shifting, malleability and moldability of Clayface to give us our first glimpse of how that will render on screen in the DCU. Just like a really cool, effective first trailer to set the tone and to set the expectation. We have like multiple group chats with various colleagues going all the time about film and TV and things that we're excited to cover. And like, people were hyped about this yesterday. Yes. There was just kind of like unanimous enthusiasm for this, which that's always fun and cool and exciting.
And rare.
And it is increasingly rare.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
especially for, I would say, a superhero property. Yes. Like right now, the mood is not very high on this. And so something I wanted to ask you, like, we both enjoyed Superman. We are
quite a bit
cautiously optimistic for Supergirl.
I am excited for Supergirl, though I am like really worried about how much of Supergirl seems to hinge on crypto being imperiled. It's like a tough thing for me. It's always been always been something that James Gunn does. Obviously, we've watched that over the years with Rocket, et cetera, and all of his pals and Guardians 3, but I don't know that I'll be able to handle.
Will you talk to me before you talk to me before you start Beef season 2?
Yes, I think I'm going to have to, I'm very excited for Beef season 2. As you know, I loved season 1 and this season 2 features some of my genuine faves.
Charles Melton, your guy.
My dream casting for Fourth Wing is in Beef.
Yeah.
Both of them actually. But if there's some animal pain coming,
Kaylee Spaney or
I thought
Violet?
she would have been a great Violet.
I agree.
Yeah, and I thought he would have been a great Zayden. And that would have been just wonderful. And I think a lot of the casting rumors that are out there are also very exciting. We'll see. Do you see this Yaros and like there's like a special extra little book coming, and she's like, nothing's changing about the timeline for book 4, but you're gonna get another little thing too. Whew.
You're thrilled and excited.
I await anxiously the new sex scenes.
This is Sarah J. Maas's like move, which is just sort of like, I'm gonna write a prequel novella that slides in between these two books or something like that.
It did make me wonder, like, will this be the equivalent of like the 4th court installment?
Right.
That, like a lot of people are like,
So we'll see.
We'll see.
So my relationship to Clayface is my perfect Sunday. My relationship to Clayface is Batman animated series is where I first sort of was introduced to Clayface. And then played extremely well in the Harley Quinn animated series voiced by Alan Tudyk. Like really, really funny, sort of making fun of him as like, oh, thespian, like this whole thing. Very, very good.
Yes, same.
But both have been, I mean, Clayface in the original Batman in the animated series was like menacing-ish. But this is a much scarier take than we've experienced with Clayface. I love, for me personally, like thinking about the idea of like Hope Core being punk rock for Superman.
Yeah.
And the like, I'm just a girl in the world, but hopefully not literally that needle drop of Supergirl. And then this like extremely dark and horrifying movie. It's exciting to me to watch as James Gunn and Associates shape the DCEU. Previously, and they've talked about how they want this to still connect to everything. Peacemaker is obviously connecting to everything and stuff like that. But like, previously the ethos as modeled by the MCU was all of these movies should feel in some degree the same so that when we put them all together, when we mash up these characters in crossover movies, it all sort of tonally and visually makes sense. But what I really like is I was worried that it would only be the sort of like Elseworlds, Robert Pattinson Batman movies or whatever that would feel markedly different from what the main DC storyline is. But this trailer is serving as something incredibly different in tone and looks from those other two movies.
Yes.
And that's exciting to me because what the superhero film should be. And like, James Gunn has said this in interviews. Anyone who is like Jon Favreau has said this in interviews is like what the Westerns were for a while when they ruled Hollywood, which is just a vast ocean that you can play in and you can, go anywhere you want with different genres. And so like, did Marvel play with that? Yes, to a certain degree. We got like Winter Soldier, which we talk about its espionage influences and stuff like that. But like, fundamentally, they all were sort of meant to be of a piece. And this feels like something very different and very exciting to me. How do you feel about that?
I agree. And I think like, already with the first Lanterns trailer that came out, that's another beat of like that. I'm almost like, that feels like it has as much of a connection to what's going to be happening in the DCU as it could to like a Yellowstone show or something,
That's a jacket-based comment.
I say that as for me a compliment.
I know. I know. You meant it as a compliment.
To you, horrifying. But yeah, and I think like when I'm a fan of James Gunn's approach and his superhero films. I think when he took over the DC connected universe, a question that some fans had was like, how much will that be?
She's like, you fucking doubters.
No, not at all. Because I think this was like a completely reasonable thing to wonder, like how much of this will be about trying to port and inject that very particular approach,
that guardian sort of energy.
into all of these other things. And like, I think there is obviously some umbrella approach, undoubtedly, but to be able in each property to say like, what is this supposed to be, and to empower the people who are making those stories to really shape them creatively is super exciting and cool. And I think like very much in the spirit of what people love about comic books. Right?
Exactly.
Where like the run that you might form a deep connection to, or the penciler, the artist, the writer who generated a certain run that you love, or reinvented a character, or whatever the case may be, like part of the joy and like kind of eternal repeatable resource of comic books is that there's something that is tethered to a core beating heart that you love and care about. And then every time you pick up a new issue or you download a new issue or however you're consuming it now, can feel a little different. And that's fun and cool and fresh.
Or like deeply dramatically different, And like, this feels like one of those runs from like an artist you're so excited about to see what their take on like Scarlet Witch is going to be or something like that.
Yeah. So I'm really hyped and I really hope Supergirl is good. And I'm very excited about Lanterns and feels like a cool moment for the DCU, which is like Great. That would be
it's
cool.
been on the back foot for a while.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I love the Batman, and there's
Same.
a number of other things that have worked in the past, but they've been sort of languishing in the shadow of Marvel for so long. We're about to talk about
No
a Marvel
question.
TV show that we are intermittently enjoying, but like it's
Yeah.
a little hard out there for Marvel right now, and so
no question.
this is
Can't
where we
wait for
are
them to drop that Doomsday trailer. Gotten some different feedback from different people.
at CinemaCon.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. It depends entirely who you ask.
Sure does.
Right?
Yeah.
Who's been the highest on it?
Not the Big Pick crew.
No, I mean, like, but they never were going to be.
Yeah.
So
that's been most of my experiences hearing from them about it. But
Sean and Amanda were never going to be like, Doomsday, can't wait.
Sean, it's possible that Sean would have.
I don't think for Doomsday. I think
Maybe
for
not.
some superhero properties,
Maybe
but I don't think for Doomsday.
He's hyped for Clayface, though.
While I have you,
Yes, you always have me. Never forget that. You always have me.
Adriana Arjona has been cast for the second Superman movie.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
She's allegedly playing Maxima.
Yeah.
But do you agree with me and a lot of the internet that she's actually probably playing Diana a.k.a. Wonder Woman?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like this is...
I mean, she might not be, but I think it would be dumb to cast her to play Max. And if I'm Adriana Arjona coming off of Andor and being as talented and wonderful as she is, whatever.
Shout out Bix, now and always.
Bix Clean, we love you. But like, I mean, maybe get your bag. Like if she wants that Maxima money, sure. But like, if I'm her, I'd be like, you know what I deserve? To be Wonder Woman. That's what I deserve.
Now, it's possible, some of this is like how much have casting rumors on the internet incepted us into thinking something is a guarantee, because the idea that she was playing Wonder Woman was really out there for a while.
James Gunn said it before.
I know.
Like, James Gunn has said it.
And so it's like maybe possible that it was always this, but yeah, I think she would be just wonderful.
I agree.
As Wonder Woman. That would be so cool. So that feels likely to me as well. And I would celebrate it enthusiastically. So when will we find out for sure? Who knows? But yeah, I feel like we're in an era right now of casting rumors that feel like just definitely true. It's like Sadie Sink is going to be Jean Grey. And like we can all pretend for months on end that there's like a tiny part of us that doesn't believe that that's true. But there isn't. There isn't.
I mean, there's a tie to that very sort of plot line in this episode of Daredevil, is there not? So that being said, shall we do Daredevil episode 6?
Let's check in.
Okay. All right, episode 6, Requiem. I want to start before we get in, we've got some, we're just going to hop, skip, jump through this.
Checking in.
Right?
Yeah.
But here she is, Jessica Jones, Disney Plus wanted to make sure you knew that it was like, at least on my thumbnail. I don't know if they do the Netflix thing where they have rotating thumbnails for different things, but mine was just like,
same.
Jessica Jones is here in this episode.
Same.
God damn it.
Yes.
So we've been waiting all season for this.
Yes.
Here she is, episode 6, and we've only got 2 more episodes to go for the season. She was sort of promoted very heavily in this season.
Yes.
So my question to you, I have a couple questions for you. Since you won't be here next week when I hope we get more Jessica Jones.
That would be great.
I just wanted to check in with you on this sort of like, was it worth the wait for you? And then maybe some of you're wearing purple, some of your larger sort of Jessica Jones feelings.
As you know, Kilgrave is always on my mind. I love Jessica Jones. I love Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones. She is one of my favorite performers and like the run of comic book characters on TV that we've gotten. And like, we've talked a lot about Daredevil on Netflix back in the day, and obviously in general, those shows and the run of shows in the Netflix Marvel era, there was like some variance, but Jessica Jones, we got a lot because those were 13 episode hour long seasons, and we got 3 seasons, 13 episodes each. So that was like a lot, right? And so I thought that season 1 of Jessica Jones was fucking dynamite. Really great. Always a thrill to have David Tennant in our lives as well. And I thought it was just such a successful in so many respects introduction in that connected universe to this character. And so I was very, very attached to her. And also, like, of course, it's like, we've got Jane and Breaking Bad. Like, it was just cool moment to be a Kristen Ritter fan.
Mhm.
I think that, as was often...
Don't trust the bee in apartment 23.
Exactly.
Are you a fan?
Exactly. I'm not. I can't claim to be, but I do recall the commercials and the branding for the show. I think, as was often the case with those Netflix shows, the quality varied over time, but I don't think her success as a character varied inside of the show. Even when the show around her was not as capable of a vehicle, she was always interesting to me as a figure. So I've been awaiting her return. She was always very high on my list of like characters from Netflix to bring into the MCU, please.
Right.
I anxiously await Luke Cage's return as well. Fun to see their daughter, Danny, in this episode. So I kind of like...
Fun to think about Danny Rand, your actual favorite Marvel Netflix superhero.
Once again, not brought up. But I wish we hadn't had to wait quite this long. I think the like mention of Jess at the beginning of the season when we were talking about like who could do what and dig up what was like a nice little wink to us, like, be patient, she's coming. But it's an 8-episode season. We got just a little bit in this 6th episode, and now there are only 2 episodes left. Now, if you're on the internet, you can see that I think she is going to be much more prominent in the 3rd season.
We hope. There have been set photos.
Yeah. So that's exciting. I anticipate that greatly. I thought that I had a kind of like up, down, up response to Jess's use in this long-awaited return. The way that the first action scene was cut, where like you see this house and it's suburbia and it's peaceful, and then you're just walloped into this Wetworks crew. Thought of Buffy, Wetworks. I was like, scuba. I think it's murder. Anya, always on my mind now.
I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. I was excited to bring that up with you today. And you're inside the room with her kid playing on the floor, and then there's a ticking bomb that rolls in the window, and you see the action before we ever see Jess's face. It's filmed from like, we've got the legs, and then we have kind of the torso and the figures of blood against some bodies slamming against the windows. You're like, it's Jessica Jones, but the tension is building. And then when she pops in and is like, that's not a toy, I was just like, here we fucking go. Great. Okay. I thought that the conversation between Jess and Matt on the rooftop was like pretty stilted and weird, and a little bit of a like, we now have to go through the awkward mechanics of reintroducing to you characters who have an established history. These 2 performers, these characters in shows together, and like kind of make sure that they're still in each other's lives, talking about her kid, but also like aren't Jess having to catch him up on Mr. Charles, etc. So I was like, Then they went to hit the weapons depot. And Jess threw a task force member through the wall and then like Kool-Aid Manned in, and then Matt opened the door and walked through, and I was like, we're back, baby. So that was ebbs and flows.
That was the journey you went on.
Ebbs and flows. Yeah. But I'm so glad Jessica's here. Jessica Jones is a character I really enjoy, and I'm happy she's back. How about you?
I like Jessica Jones. I don't know what it is. There was something about season 1 of Jessica Jones. Clearly the best Jessica Jones season. And I think Kristen Ritter is great casting for Jessica Jones. Loved her since Veronica Mars, etc. Like, great stuff. And I really like the Jessica Jones comics. Like, I read a bunch of those before, long before the show was even announced. It was like one that in my like early days of reading comics, a friend of mine gave to me, who's just sort of like, you'll like this. You'll like Jessica Jones. For some reason, I don't know. I don't even know if it's me pushing back on everyone expecting Jessica Jones to be my favorite like Marvel show.
Sure. Yeah.
That they're just like, David Tennant's here.
Yeah.
It's a badass mean
Strong
girl.
woman.
Yeah, strong, strong, independent female character.
And you're like, I hate women. Wait till you hear me talk about Daredevil.
As you know. I dislike women. But I don't know. There was just something about it where I was just sort of like, I don't know. I like it a lot, but it's not my favorite. Yeah. And I'm glad, like, I'm so glad. I think I would put it, I think Daredevil clear of the Netflix stuff.
No
Daredevil
question.
clear.
Yeah.
I think I actually like Luke Cage season 1 a bit better. And then I would put Jessica Jones season 1. And then it's just like diminishing returns.
Yeah. Where do you have defenders?
Bargain basement. So that being said, like the stuff with Matt and Jess in the Defenders when he has her like scarf on his head and stuff like that, all this stuff is really good.
Yes.
Like that's some great stuff. And they have like good energy. So
They do.
I agree with you that I was missing a bit of that, you know, of her making fun of him and all that sort of stuff in the rooftop conversation. But I'm excited. I think Kristen Ritter should still play Jessica Jones. I'm excited that Jessica Jones is here. And I'm excited to see where this goes. Am I a bit dismayed? Skip forward if you don't want to know about set photos for Daredevil season 3. Am I a bit dismayed to see that Adeniran is here?
It's a little surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No offense to Finn Jones.
No, of course.
But full offense to Adeniran. So, you know, it's just, we'll see. Yeah, I'm eager to see how they use her for the rest of the season.
Me too. And how much of it feels like it's just kind of another beat in moving the show into the era that this showrunning team wants it to be in. Like, are we like fully finally out of the things we had to account for from season 1, you know, which we talked about last week? There were still like some tendrils of that.
Vanessa. Destroying Robin in a snowstorm. Like,
that was tough.
R.I.P.
That was tough.
I wish it had stayed with just like the twin blood spatters of like King Wilson's blood and then Matt's blood twined together forever.
What if we taped it back up, the canvas, from the back?
It'll be the same.
And then it's just like, again, it's just.
I've always said you should go into art restoration.
You have. Yeah. You have.
Would it be duct tape? Is that what you would use?
It's very strong.
Yeah.
Very strong.
Like
you can use it in space.
A moment for Scotch tape?
I don't know that Scotch tape has the heft and integrity that we need here. So perhaps maybe like a moving tape.
A clear packing tape.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it would hold together. You wouldn't see the tape from the front. You would see the scars, but it would just be some additional
like
thematic
some
resonance.
Kintsugi sort of like.
Exactly.
That's where the beauty is in the scars.
Exactly.
Great. We've talked about a lot of things, but what I meant to start with is the most important thing that happens in this episode for you, for me, for humans in the world.
Jesus.
And that is Karen's, let's hope, final wig.
Please, God.
This is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Did it accidentally go through like a weed whacker? What happened to this wig? Did it have to be that like chaotic so someone could easily snatch it off her head, which they do at the end of this episode? But like, I know that some people are like, Joanna, you paid too much attention to wigs or whatever, but let's all be very clear. This is one of the batshit most insane things I've ever seen on television. Is this? I regret everything I said about the wigs last week because they all look like they belong in the Louvre compared to like what she is wearing on her head in this episode. But Cashman, I apologize. Your Rachel looks great. What the fuck was this?
I was thinking of Buck's wig again when he and Heather were talking about how like they don't have a lot of people anymore, and I was like, no one remembers that hair. Then that's something. You know, that's something. The Karen wig was remarkable. I do wonder, is it possible that it was a deliberate creative choice to make it that glaring and that galling so that we were really focused on it when it was dramatically snatched?
This is
dramatically
also
pulled from her head.
I will say this, and Mallory Rubin is
funny.
is a dyed-in-the-wool, down to her marrow and her bones, Karen hater. I am not.
I wouldn't say hater.
You are. Yeah, you
I
are.
would say
just own it.
I'm not.
Say it with your full chest. Stand on your business.
As you know, I had some questions about Karen's journalistic integrity.
You hate
in the first series.
Well, she's not a journalist, but like,
don't I know it?
But you hate Karen, and that's okay. You don't hate women, but you hate Karen, and that's okay. You don't.
Whereas you like Karen, but you hate women.
You don't hate all gingers, but you.
I love a ginger. I love a ginger.
But you hate Karen.
You know I love a ginger.
I do know that. You hate Karen. Even you must admit, this was an insane Karen episode. They put both her wig and her character development in the Weed Whacker together in the Vitamix. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But like, she is behaving so out of character. I mean, like, you know, there are things that Karen would say and do, and pulling a gun on someone is not something that should surprise us. But there's just like, there's this seemingly out of semi-nowhere rift between Matt and Karen inside of this episode. And you know, when he's like, I don't even recognize you. what happened to you?
Yeah.
And she says, you want to know what happened to me? I grew up. What is that in reaction to?
Yeah.
Like, it's so confusing. Like, I understand, like, she tries to explain. She's like, my witness that we put in witness protection didn't make it. I mean, no shit, Karen, that was never going to work. But like,
yeah.
Yes, I understand that we've all been here for all the events that have happened this season. And yes, her foggy trauma and that she would be upset about Dex
of course.
being alive and being in their,
Yeah.
I guess they're in Punisher, Frank's. This is like Frank's little hideout is where they are. It's got like it's like his weight machine, his stuff on the wall, his kids' art is there. So they're in like Frank's hideout. Dex should kind of be her type, honestly, because they're really like putting him in the Frank Castle model here. But she should be mad that Dex is alive and here. Fair, fine. But this Karen is just out of control. I just feel like it's a completely different character they're writing inside of this episode.
Yeah. I don't think that the Matt Karen conversations were very good in this episode or very successful. I think that there is a version of this that could work.
Yes.
Because so it's more about the execution than the kind of like core idea or intention, as is so often the case, of course. I think that Karen over the years, if we think back to something like not just the stuff that is actively invoked in these scenes, like what she went through with Wesley, which again, like I kind of quickly mentioned that last week, but that was on my mind when we just were watching her. Like, I think you're right that we shouldn't be surprised at this point to see her pull a gun on Dex. But when she was just sort of, and again, they're trying to help other people, they're helping the detainees escape. It was a dire circumstance, but the very like, I'm on the ground firing guns and firing bullets into people, and then I move on and don't think about it again, felt to me removed from a key aspect of Karen's interrogation of what it means to be that violent and the way that her character has struggled with that over the years.
Her flashback.
So, with the flashback
with
episode.
Family,
So like, we have seen Karen in a number of different states, and the way that Karen...
And wigs.
and wigs. Powell coming over and be like, holy shit, it's Karen fucking Page.
Powell also is like not behaving like
the Powell Saunders stuff was like, that was all so rushed and so
Powell this season is like unrecognizable to who he was last season. Like, he wasn't a good guy last season, but he was recognizably a human, and now he's behaving like a soulless monster.
And like they've obviously brought the other, guy back to be like, what are you doing, Powell? That like even someone else who has made the choice to participate in this task force could be like appalled by the way he's behaving. I think this show continues to really struggle with these like attempts to, in quick beats of story and dialogue or character choice, ask us to accept that this is how these people would behave. And I think it is then particularly challenging, not just with a character like Karen, but a relationship like Matt's and Karen's, which is the thing we are most deeply rooted in the history of the show at this point.
Yeah. R.I.P. Foggy.
R.I.P. Foggy. So it's like, it would have been like Matt and Karen, Matt and Foggy number one, Matt and Karen, and
Father
like
Lantom.
Father Lantom gone. And of
who
course,
died mysteriously. We don't know how. Like, don't worry about it. Like, don't even worry about how Father Lantom
Karen
died.
Bringing that up.
I didn't hear it.
Remember what this fucker did?
What did she say? I didn't hear. Did I miss it? Did I go to the bathroom?
Yeah, you were too busy looking at the chest hair, which I understand, honestly.
She got to the bottom of what happened to Father Lantom, an unsolved mystery on this show.
She did.
Wow, she is a good investigative journalist.
She's always had the skills, the reporting chops after all. But I think like so Karen pushing Matt, and again, they're invoking that, and like she's like, I know, I was the one who pulled you back when you wanted to do these things. So this idea that they are both constantly yo-yoing in and out of different relationships to their own morality and the choices they make, that actually makes sense to me. I think that they find themselves sometimes then on opposite sides of that turnstile also makes sense to me. I don't know, like Karen just like, Fisk, this thing over the people who love you. It was very like really bad version of Gollum has broken through Smeagol for a minute. Like, we do all have two wolves inside. We all carry a Gollum and a Smeagol inside, but
do you think Deborah Ann Wall is available for Hunt for Gollum?
I hope so.
Should Andy call her? Because like Andy's doing a
great.
lot of that movie. Can he both direct and be Gollum? I don't know.
Who's the precious in this situation, I guess? Is it the gun that she tried to shoot Dex with?
Is it Dex himself?
Listen, what I did, in fact, write in my notes.
Is the golden chest hair is gleaming like the golden ring, the One Ring?
Yes, that. But also, who among us? Hot, who among us? I wrote multiple times. When she chose to, in the moment before
Straddle him.
attempting to shoot him in the head, straddle him. You don't need to do it.
And grasp the back of his head like she's going to make out with him.
You don't need to do it. But she chose to do it.
Did. She did choose that. And that was a very relatable moment.
That was compelling.
Yeah, that was compelling.
I understood that. And then Dex obviously trying to work her, right, and manipulate her into the outcome that he is seeking. And then the fact that she kind of was willingly...
It works on her in a way that it didn't with Matt.
Yeah, and she's like, it's not even like he's like, oh, I have like manipulated you because I'm such a master at this. She's like, I want that too. So I'm allowing you to lead me into this place, even though I know that is what's happening.
How many episodes do you think Dex will be handcuffed shirtlessly to a cot? And did it make you think of Spike manacled in the bathtub in Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 4?
It did. And then you put that gif in our notes.
I did.
So it did again.
But my question was, did you think of it before?
Yeah. I mean, it's just, again, you have a type and
it's very clear.
It's very clear. So yeah, I don't know. The Karen Matt stuff is like not really working this season, I don't think, which is a bummer because I was very eager for their relationship to be centered again.
I thought it was working kind of okay in the first couple episodes. And then they just sort of like backburnered it. And then all of a sudden it's like fallen apart. And I just feel like they didn't plot that arc very well. We'll see what happens in 7 and 8. As I mentioned last week, and I checked with Arjuna about this because Arjuna did watch the screeners. This scene that opens this episode of Fisk killing the doctor was originally at the end of last week's episode when the screeners went out.
Okay.
Arjuna confirmed that was true. And as I mentioned, a couple different outlets like working off the screeners and their recaps, like, put it in there. So like, does it matter to like, what do you think is behind moving it from his grief at the end of last week's episode into the opening here? Is it a good note to start this episode with? Would it have been a better note to end last week's episode with? What do you think about that?
I guess I think it works better here, maybe.
I kind of agree.
Then because we have the kind of pivot point from grief to rage, which feels like an effective beat to have lingered in for a minute where we're just like, we are mourning. This tragic thing has happened. We end in that dark, desperate place. And then very quickly we open there. We're with him. He's by her bedside. He's crying. It was like very sad, I thought.
You know what would have helped?
The doctor not coming in quoting William Penn.
Some ice cold pineapple juice.
Pineapple juice, just a little tingle. The good kind of tingle.
Now I understand that he's quoting William Penn, but did it make you think of What Is Dead May Never Die?
Totally. Yes. I just thought this was a
Were you like, King's Moot, King's Moot, King's Moot?
Yes, definitely. I always liked that crown. I did. There's a lot of notes on Euron, but I liked that crown.
Do you think that this doctor was watching season 6 of Game of Thrones right before he died? And do you
It's the only explanation.
And then do you think he will never know how badly the show ended? And so maybe it's a bit of a mercy that his life was cut short in the midst of season 6, which is not my favorite, but certainly not as bad as it gets.
Some great episodes in season 6, as you know, I believe. I'm trying to. I thought this brain surgeon was real weird from the word go, but I am trying to think of a worse misread by any character ever
in the history of fiction,
in the history of story, than Mayor Fisk. Would you like a hug?
Hey, big guy.
What the fuck was that? Crazy. His spine got snapped and all of his organs were turned to pulp inside of him, and then he died.
Dr. Goo, too dumb to live.
I mean, that was
got it.
Immediately proven. Yeah. And then I guess the only counterpoint maybe to that it was better at the beginning of this than the end of last week was then we kind of went from that into the funeral, into the post-funeral reception, and like
Wilson doesn't talk in that scene, right? And he doesn't talk for most of this episode until the very end.
He whispers silent to Vanessa a little bit, but we're...
And he's like silent at the funeral. He
doesn't talk to Charles on the phone.
Doesn't talk to Charles on the phone.
Real power move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you done that? Icy silence? When Jimmy Fallon calls to talk to you about this week's Survivor?
I await your apology. We await your apology.
And you won't say you're forgiven. You will just give him icy silence. All right. We've already talked about you already went over the Jessica Jones intro. Just to make it clear in case people don't know, Danielle, her daughter with Luke Cage, per comics canon. And Danielle is named Danielle, a.k.a. Danny, after Luke Cage's BFF, Danny Rand.
Yeah.
So, Danny Rand, you are with us now and always, I guess.
Yeah.
But what I think is interesting is this connection, as you alluded to, between Mr. Charles and Jessica Jones. This information she gives in this sort of stilted exposition kind of way of Mr. Charles is hunting down supers.
Yeah.
And not everyone she knows said no when he came a-calling.
Right.
So... we know that Mr. Charles is associated with the CIA.
Yep.
And with Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Sure, yeah. Val is always welcome. Always.
Is she? Okay. With Val.
Yeah.
CIA.
Yep.
We think that in the Spider-Man movie, Jean Grey is being held by damage control.
Mm-hmm.
But, is there a way in which those are all connected?
Sure.
Or are we watching Val and the CIA and damage control hunting down mutants or supers, however you prefer, whatever you prefer to call them?
Good questions.
I hope it's the same plot and scheme.
Yeah.
Because it feels a little messy if it's not.
Plot and scheme.
Here's the most important thing that happens in this episode. Matthew Lillard, an icon, a 90s gemstone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Snacks on a Granny Smith apple.
He does.
Welcome to Team Green.
Yeah.
Matthew Lillard, we are Legion.
Yeah, Mr. Charles, really the one that you want on your team. Interesting. You know what else he ingested in this episode? The green apple. Oh, your
my team is growing.
Yeah, you're amassing.
I got numbers.
Roster members left and right lately. Just, let's shoot a green apple off of Rue's head.
Uh-huh.
We got another wonderful green apple
tuned.
thing that we'll be talking about more soon. When he's at the governor's house. Beautiful library.
What would you do if you came home and you don't have a fireplace, do you? Do you have a fireplace?
There's a gas fireplace, yeah.
And I was cozied up to your fireplace with a really nice glass of whiskey that I gave you, but okay.
Well, this is what I was going to bring up.
And my shoes are off. Well, you would like that because you don't like...
I would prefer
Never mind,
that.
I forgot that. You don't like shoes in the home.
You could...
I don't want to come home to a stranger in their socks in my house.
I don't want to come home to somebody who has trekked the filth from outside into my living room or my resplendent library, should I ever be fortunate enough to have one.
Overly familiar.
Well, he dipped into the Mictors. So Mictors, that's what I was going to bring up because he's like, is this the 20-year Mictors I gave you? Because it is fucking delicious. And that was my favorite Mr. Charles moment yet. We saw him, when we met him, he was just down in booze, right? Mictors is one of my personal favorites.
So you're saying Mr. Charles is a man of refined taste?
I mean, I think so. A 20-year Mictors is no fucking joke. I mean, that is a pricey bottle.
An excellent palate he must have. Fond of both nice
I think so.
whiskey and Grady Smith apples.
I mean, he wasn't like, let me describe all of the flavor notes. He said fucking delicious. So how refined is the palate? I don't know. But that's a good bottle of booze.
Sure, walk it back.
You know who else loved a bottle of Mictors?
Who's that?
Axe from Billions. And I never miss a chance to bring up Billions. Mictors was Axe's
Billions
bottle
or the
of
affair.
Choice.
Showtime's like, thank you for keeping our back kettle alive. Just you. Do you want to talk about weeds? Should we talk about weeds?
I loved weeds.
Yeah, Californication. Let's roll out all the Showtime
Let
classics.
me tell you something right now.
Yeah.
This is not the first time that Californication has come up this week. It came up earlier this week. And I was also excited to discuss it then. Fucking and Punchin', remember that?
Listen.
Vividly.
We all lived through Showtime together. Okay. So Mr. Charles is both hunting soups and connected to Val and has a deal with Fisk and has a relationship with the governor so much so that he calls her Marge.
Yep.
And puts his stocking feet up, near her fireplace.
Indeed.
Where is your interest level on this whole mayoral, gubernatorial succession candidate shell game? Because we've got Sheila in the mix with a Spider-Man trailer spoiler attached to it. And we've got Lieutenant Governor Juan Gomez in the mix, a character that we've met literally once.
Yep.
So do we care?
Buck is trying to stoke the ambition there a little bit. I don't care about this at all, which is a
0%.
problem because it's pretty core to the structure of this season, and
Yeah.
more characters are being introduced week after week who are entwined with this aspect of the plot. Now, of course, Wilson Fisk's relationship to power and control and public office as a way to, so much of the conversation that he and Matt have at the end. I will say, not to jump ahead, Matt coming in and I'm sorry for your loss, Wilson. I was actually like, that really hit Wilson.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, just the Wilson for me.
You don't think it was a Dr. Goo level of misreading the room?
Well, I mean, based on how it went, I don't know that it was totally the right tactic. But
do you think Dr. Goo would have had a better time if he
Dr. Goo is just tough one.
If he could have coming to the BBC next season, Dr. Goo.
How would Dr. Goo have done in the pit? What do you think?
Maybe
pretty well, actually. I think the would you like a hug move would be pretty.
I think he belongs in the
warmly
night shift.
received.
He's a nightcrawler. That's what I think.
Nightcrawler. Also a Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee guy?
Get off of Dr. Shen's beat. That he owns that corner.
I just love Shen, as you know. Wow.
He's my literal favorite.
It's great.
Speaking of Dr. Shen, here's one of my favorite things that has ever happened on a Showtime show. In Weeds season 4, I want to say, you know how Nancy is always drinking an iced coffee?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Someone literally slaps the iced coffee out of her hand. She's left with the straw in her mouth, and I keep waiting for someone to do that to Dr. Shen.
Man. The bot wins. What a time that was.
Jeez. But Justin Kirk, my guy. Mm-hmm. But listen,
Uncle Andy.
Do you think Dr. Goo would have had a better time if he too could have loomed into a room artistically, the shadow of his distinctive headgear, cast over Wilson? Do you think it would have gone better for him?
I don't.
Okay.
I still think that his critical error, in addition to Wilson Fisk, Kingpin, would you like a hug, was Vanessa, she died. Probably fine. She's at peace now. Death. Let me tell you why it's great.
What is dead may never die.
I don't think was what Wilson Fisk was looking
Have you heard the good word about Euron Greyjoy? And it just did not go over. All right.
Oh, man.
Buck Cashman is probably going to be involved in some sort of gubernatorial assassination or something like that, I would have to guess. But what we would prefer to watch him do.
Yeah. Wow. Boy.
Is fuck Heather. Because I think this is the thing you buried the lead. When you texted to me, you left me a voice note about what happened in this episode.
I did. I didn't realize you hadn't watched it yet.
You just outlined a lot of spoilers about the episode.
I'm so sorry.
You're I can't wait to talk about all the things that happened in the episode, and I hadn't watched it yet. But that's okay. Shirtless Dex gets a passing mention. Mm-hmm. You actually didn't even say that. You just said Karen watching Dex sleep. That's what you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Heather, I believe you said climaxing while choking
Clearly,
Buck
yeah.
was I think your most central point.
Yep.
This is, I think, your favorite part of this episode. You are notoriously a Dr. Heather Glenn fan because you love women. And I just want to say this.
Oh my God.
Please forgive me. But I ship it. Buck Cashman and Dr. Heather Glenn. This is deeply fucked up, of course.
Mm-hmm.
This is not good PTSD, coping mechanism, I would say.
Yeah. Interesting.
But it was incredibly hot, question mark.
I was compelled.
Tell me your thoughts and feelings.
So I'm curious to come back to her stealing Vanessa's jewelry and what you make
Just
of that.
One earring.
Yeah. Very following one earring.
I just literally wrote in my note. I was like, what if it were a pearl earring? Stay tuned for the Nolan episode.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So that was interesting. And just in general, the presentation of Heather and Vanessa's relationship,
Vanessa.
We'll talk about that in a second. Obviously, the headline is the choking. Buck finds Heather in this room in an emotional state and asks if she's okay. And she is processing what happened with Muse still. We have seen Muse popping up, right? She's nailing things to the wall, flashes
the
of
old
him.
camera tilt starts,
The
and
camera
you're
tilt.
here we go, except
Yes.
it was Buck Cashman. It wasn't Muse.
Yes, indeed. Great outcome, frankly. So she tells Buck, the man I killed, because she's like, you carry a gun. You've killed people. Well, the man I killed, he was a patient. He came to me for help. And Buck, very present and reassuring. He was a madman who tried to kill you.
But say it Britishly.
He was a madman who tried to kill you.
There you go.
What you did was brave.
Hotter. Much hotter. Madman, as said by a British person, is much hotter.
Boy, I don't feel brave. What did he do? And then we're flashing as she's describing it. He cut me. He choked me. And then Buck Cashman says in reply, show me.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is how most people would reply to that. But Buck is down to fuck. That's clear. And he's also
scientifically, medically, psychologically, we cannot approve of this tactic. As lovers of Buck Cashman,
I mean,
we're pro.
You know, two consenting adults just working through their trauma here.
It's just a little breath play.
A little bit, more than a little breath play.
A little breath play with tears streaming down our face and someone is turning purple.
And the subtitling. So, okay, show me. No, it's okay. And then she does show him. So her hands are wrapped around his neck and she's choking him and he is asphyxiating. And she is, I think, definitely canonically, undeniably orgasming. No question in my mind.
By the way, I got that description of you before I saw the scene, so I thought she was like literally actually going to like come and like.
I think she did.
I think that's a absolutely solid read from you. But I don't think every single person watching that episode was like, that was an orgasm.
I think it was an orgasm. I think this was a deep, emotional, but also sexual journey, and this was about Heather being in power, right, and rediscovering control of power. But the tracking of her breath
what
pattern.
Did the closed captioning say?
Okay, so we start with
there's nothing. Okay,
brackets.
Pause.
Yeah,
there's nothing I love more than Mallory dramatically reads smutty captioning.
I mean,
from a TV show.
They did a great job with this. Brackets, panting.
Boilerplate.
Bracket. Heather continues panting.
Mm-hmm.
And then she orgasms. And Buck, smiling, proud to have brought the woman in his life to the peak of her pleasure, says, very proud of himself, "You feel better?" And then the subtitles say again in brackets, exhales. I rest my case.
Okay.
I rest my case.
Okay, counselor. We've been waiting for more legal drama on this show, and you brought it, and I'm so proud of you. Okay. Quickly, I'm just going to buzz through this part. La Resistance. This feels very budget and/or to me.
Yeah.
Quite sad. They do a wide shot of the crowd, and it's just like about 20 to 30 people. And I think when they were shooting it as like chaos and the camera's in the crowd, it was sort of convincingly, because the point that the members of the resistance are saying is like, there's more of us than there are of them. It's growing every day. This outrage, blah, blah, blah. Like, the Vanessa mourners are here with their candles, but we got more. But it's like, it's just a few people show up to this
Right.
This
the idea
vigil.
that Fisk has lost the people to the extent that he had them. And of course, he did have some, lamentably, certainly.
For sure.
And
Daniel Blake's mom, she's got a Trump flag on her
worrying. The political machine as well, because as Fisk is looking out at the assembled, Buck comes in and says, like, I have an update.
Marge is not about it.
Big Marge has pulled her
Big
support.
Marge is out.
Big Marge and Mr. Charles are sipping the 20 year.
They're out.
And probably
Sheila is
noshing
in.
on some Granny Smiths, and you no longer have their support. So that's just true.
I just think the crowd was like kind of
think
weenie for the point that they're
way.
trying to make.
If there had been too many people, you would not have been able to so clearly see all of the flyaways on Karen's wig. Think of it that way. So you make your trade-offs creatively in order to center.
I really disagree because of her projection, her La Resistance projection art.
Yeah.
She was quite backlit.
That's true.
And so that really highlighted the sort of weed-whacked effect of her wig. What I did like is you saw a bunch of people in the crowd put on their own like homemade Daredevil masks. And it was very into the Spider-Verse. Anyone can wear the mask.
Absolutely.
Sort of moment, which we are Daredevil. Kind
Always
of thing.
great. Yes.
Saved a couple things for last, and they're gifts to you.
Yeah.
One's a gift for you, and then the other one is just sort of like, we should talk about this.
Yeah.
Daniel takes BB home to Staten Island to meet his ma. Daniel Blake calling his mother Ma is like
Ma Blake.
the most Blake core thing you could have.
Absolutely.
A moment for Ma Blake.
Yeah. Yes.
Here's her nighttime routine.
Yep.
Chardonnay, melatonin,
Out.
then she's out.
Actually, there's one more detail.
Oh.
Turn the TV on. The cat likes it.
Mallory core.
My God. I'm not
Will
much
you
of a
be
Chardonnay
adopting,
person,
but maybe you should
a nice
try.
glass of something. A 20-year Michter's. Absolutely.
Plus
I
the
always have
melatonin.
Michter's in my home. Let me say that.
I'm a believer in melatonin, by the way.
You've told me this before. So I have the I would say maybe 3 of the last 7 nights. You know what I've done? Nature's melatonin. Kiwi before bed. Yeah.
Oh.
Delicious.
Has it
And
helped?
apparently just chock full
Has it helped?
of melatonin. Oh,
Okay.
You've received some. Actually, I will say, I think those nights it kind of did. But in general, you've received some messages from me this week about the state of my wellness. So I don't know if I can say like really convincingly that everything's great.
Will you consider booze plus medical grade melatonin plus? I will say you got to make sure you watch your milligrams of the melatonin.
Yeah.
Because one time I took too much. And I felt like I was gonna die. I felt like completely unhinged.
Yeah.
Like the walls were melting.
No, I
It
would
was
want to.
a
I would want
bad
to be in
time.
the exact
You
place.
start
that,
small.
right? BB and Daniel. You know, it's like life goals.
The way that
exchange.
BB actually
Wonderful.
quite likes Daniel's ma, and
This
I
is
believe
also
her,
great. Oh
and I
my
think
God.
she genuinely did want to kiss him because she saw
No question.
not only his baby photos,
Yeah.
but his
And the picture
very
of his
Mallory
dad.
Rubin coded "Life is short by the shoes" poster. Do you have that poster? Will you be purchasing that poster? I found it on Etsy. I could buy it for you.
Great. I will happily hang it in my home. I am a big Life is Short by the sneakers person, as you
I
know.
know.
You know a fair bit about my sneaker collection and my StockX habits
Yeah.
if I miss the drop. You then there's a second degree. I was looking to see, have the other poster. Life is Short. Wear the sneakers. This is another struggle in the
I know.
sneakerhead community. You talk yourself into making the purchase, but then you're like, fuck, I spent a lot of money on those sneakers. I can't really risk like that they get dirty or that they get
Do you have
creased.
any pairs that you haven't worn at all?
I do have a couple pairs that I have, let me think here, 3 pairs that I've not had like the
chutzpah?
courage to break out yet. Actually 4.
Life
Yeah.
is short. Wear
But
the
this is the
shoes.
year. One of them is just a pretty new gift from Adam that I haven't had the opportunity to wear yet. And then a few of them are like I have the Serena off-white blazers, which is like a real like crown jewel in my collection. And I have not worn them yet, but I really should. I've got a couple pairs of the off-white Prestos that I haven't broken out, but I should. And Adam got me the olive Travis Scotts, which is one of my most coveted pairs. And that was a recent gift. So I will wear those, but I haven't yet. I love a sneaker. I love Daniel Blake. I love BB and Daniel Blake and continue to be just completely captivated by this relationship.
I thought the whole like Buck, like, you know,
Dude, he's like, do the Tyrion Lannister.
pull the Tyrion, find the
great.
leak.
Oh my God.
And then for her to not send the text.
That's right. To Ellison. Thank God. I don't need Ellison back in the story. Let me just throw that out there.
Ellison, who promoted Karen Page
Exactly.
to head reporter. Okay, so BB does not send the text. She goes in for the kiss, and he's like, God damn it, baby.
You fucked us, and I can't keep you safe.
You fucked us. And I say,
You fucked us before we got to fuck.
I say, God damn it, BB. Why did you just keep that drive in your coat pocket? It's not like
That's weird.
It's not like
Yeah.
it was just placed there.
What about just even moving it to a different pocket?
Just like
I
an
bet truly that coat has one of those little inner
satin like interior pocket. What is
tuck
saved
it in
you?
there.
Yeah. But when he's like, I can't save you from Buck Cashman. And this is like, you know,
Yeah.
when Buck drew Daniel into this other room to talk to him about the Tyrion Lannister move,
Yep.
I was worried that he was like,
The barium meal test.
very good. I was very worried that he was going to say, you got to kill her.
Me too. And we
were waiting for this
I do think
to
it's
happen.
another bit of fodder that we are building toward that.
2 more episodes to go. Okay.
A barium meal test and Daniel being like, yeah, I'm familiar. It's like paleo, right? Like my mom does that. Iconic. And Buck is like, Jesus, let me once again be right back in this Hellman's
On
Mayo
your-
thing with you.
On your is Daniel actually Wilson's biological son front,
Mhm.
even though we get a photo of
Yeah.
him like with his dad in this episode and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They did have the cut from Daniel sort of like doing this to Wilson Fisk sort of doing this. And in that cut, I was like, by George, maybe Mallory's right.
Well, and like the fact that this idea of Daniel's father being introduced now to the story and how we think of him. We've met his mom. We've seen their relationship. We've seen this picture and we've seen BB looking at that picture of his father. We've heard Mob like say to Daniel, like, your father would be so proud. That feels to me like a very deliberate thing to do, is to introduce the family he grew up in before maybe learning like who his biological
entirely
father
possible.
is.
Nothing disproved your. In fact, I was just saying I thought kind of little note in your favor.
Yeah.
Okay, Matt V. Wilson.
Yeah,
I guess I don't know. I have nothing negative to say about the sort of technical aspects of this fight.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Matt's alacrity versus Wilson's brutal. We've seen them fight before, but like there's also a little bit more speed to Wilson. He's been like working on the boxing ring and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like the brute strength is still there. He's punching brick columns.
Yeah.
But also there's just like he's a little lighter on his feet than we've seen him in the past. And it's like believable to me because he's been training. And so like, from a fight choreo perspective, this is kind of interesting to me. Thematically, it kind of wasn't that interesting to me.
Yeah.
Just because I guess we've seen it. It's not the finale fight, so you're not like nothing's, major is gonna happen here. Like,
yeah. I'm in the same place. I think I like opportunities to see these two interact.
Mm-hmm.
The substance of what Matt was saying to Fisk here.
If we had never met, Foggy might be alive, Vanessa might be alive.
Yeah, and we
Might be
flashed to
alive.
Foggy, we flashed to Vanessa, we flashed to Wesley.
in the same category as Vanessa and Foggy, for sure.
It's wild. A lot of Wesley lately, which has been fun. If you leave New York, I'll leave New York. That was all a little bit flat for me. That initial moment of just like the shadow of Matt against Fisk in his just portrait of grief. And then that, I don't know what, it was just something about the like, I'm not surprised you're here, Murdock. I'm sorry for your loss, Wilson. Just like something about calling him Wilson and the ability to just for a minute present, not only like to remind us and call upon all that history, but just to present a real, just genuine glimmer of humanity between these two people who have spent years of their lives focused fully on trying to tear the other person down. It was very compelling to me. I'm like, when Matt is making his case, it is one of those things where there's just like sometimes it's okay for characters to try to do something that we know will not work. That's fine.
Sure.
But this was like a little bit too inert as a pitch, I think, because it is this, I don't know. And the fight itself was fine and good. I did like it. I was more compelled by the Fisk side of the fight because I liked, you mentioned the punching of the column and then his kind of like primal scream of pain. This idea that he's
Which
a
is
little bit
something
out
Matt's been doing all season.
Yeah, and the huffing and the heavy
roaring.
breathing and like there's a
Do you
little
think
bit
he
of this like
climaxed?
it's entirely possible.
Did he also exhale, which to you is a clear sign that somebody orgasmed?
There was the very heavy breathing and then the exhaling. That's all.
I really did like the delivery from D'Onofrio on what are you going to do? Arrest me. You cannot. Kill me. You will not. Part of that's in just the refusal to use a contraction sort of like elevates that line.
Sure.
You cannot. You will not.
Yeah.
I liked his delivery
Not
of
as
it.
good if he's like, you can't, bro.
Yeah. You can't. Kill me? You won't. What do you got? So like this is like it's quite dramatic. And yeah, this is the whole like, what the fuck are you doing, Matt Murdock? You like, what is your option? Let's both get out of town? Like that's what we're doing?
Right.
Not just kill him. I don't know.
Yeah. And like, well, I mean, Karen agrees, obviously. And so Matt will come back
So does
from this
Dex.
fight. Like
Everyone who has their head on straight agrees.
Matt will come back bloodied, bruised from this confrontation, and that will presumably
But Karen will be in peril. She's arrested.
I mean, I know. Yeah. Powell, Who
do you
the
think
wig
is gonna
was snatched and then he saw the hair.
who do you think is
Unmistakably
gonna-
Karen.
Who's gonna patch up Matt?
Yeah.
Is it gonna be Soledad
Yep.
or Dex?
I am still personally grieving the like tease of I know a nurse not
It was really
not being Claire
dirty
Temple,
pool.
which is fucked up. by
dirty
the way.
pool. Yeah.
I think that Matt going back and like basically walking in expecting to receive a lecture from Karen, who's like, see, what did you think was going to happen?
And it's
then
just a chained up shirtless Dex.
And he's like, I'm going to also make the case to you again, but I'll stitch you up first. We'll work through some of this together. That's going to be pretty fun. That would be good. I mean, they're both going to be shirtless.
And you won't be here for that.
Will you scream kiss?
Absolutely. You won't be here, sadly, but I will be here to cover that episode. Really excited to do that. Anything else you want to say before we go?
Can't wait to watch the episode. Can't wait to watch the pod. Sad to miss it. Sad not to be here, but I will
be here for the finale.
I will be back for the finale.
Yeah.
That's right. And I hope it's good. And I hope that Dex is, out there in the world doing a lot, but maybe chained to a bed for some of it, for your sake.
Thank you so much to our defenders today.
That's right.
Carla Chiriboga, Scott Lee, Jacob Cornett, who has had to listen to me talk for like so many hours because he's on both of my shows. Jamie Yukich, Kai Grady.
That's right.
Is pitch hitting here. Arjuna Ramgopowell and Jomi Adeniran.
What a
always
crew.
On the social. Just a full team. Thank you to you, Mallory Rubin.
Thank you to you, Joanna Robinson.
Thanks to our listeners.
Thanks to the Vampire Lestat.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Sam Reed.
Thanks to Clayface.
We will be back with a Nolan doubleheader soon. Bye-bye.